to skills that are most sought by organizations today, while also preparing them for future industry trends. In today's webinar, we will cover a range of topics around Amazon Web Service, nothing but AWS. This webinar is designed to provide a brief overview of AWS and its certifications. It would be useful to a wide range of professionals. Leading organizations across the world have adopted AWS to overhaul their performance, security, and team dynamics. With more and more companies jumping onto the bandwagon, it has emerged as a highly sought after skill to master. Before we begin, let me introduce the instructor for today's session, Nitin. He is an expert in the field of AWS and has about 14 plus years of industry experience and also around 7 years in the field of training as well. Thank you. Over to Nitin.
Okay, thank you. And guys, this is the agenda for today. Please have a look. And I'm just quickly checking the chat as well, just to be absolutely sure you are able to see the screen. So I'll just pause here for a few seconds. Just have a look at the agenda, and then we'll talk about what this session is all about and what is AWS, and more importantly, how it is going to help individuals shape their careers. And what's the trend in the market? I'm sure most of you are looking for that, how AWS is important for big companies, and what are the job opportunities. So in terms of ground rules, just to make the session more productive, I'll be checking the chat panel. Since by default all of you are on mute, you can use the chat panel for your any questions. And I'll be checking the chat panel after around every 15 minutes or so, because that chat is in a minimized form on my machine. Okay, so I'll not be able to immediately answer, but definitely we'll try to answer everybody's question. Okay. So one more time, are we all set to get started? Just maybe a couple of thumbs up or a couple of yeses over the chat. Okay, great, and thank you for the confirmation. Okay, so this is the agenda. We will briefly talk about what is AWS first of all. What are the uses of AWS, where it is used, and what are the features and advantages of AWS. And I'm going to explain with an analogy that you'll remember it for for your rest of life. With analogy, it always helps. And then AWS architecture, the services AWS provides, and I'm also planning to show you a short demo of demonstrating the AWS management console. And in the end, we'll also talk about what are the courses that we have. So let's start with AWS. Now, before I talk about AWS, it is important to know what is cloud computing. Now, cloud computing is a concept of accessing IT resources over the internet. Just think about the IT resources that you might have worked on or used in the past, or you are currently using. Some of the IT resources are machines, database, load balancer, networking, routers. All these IT resources, mostly hardwares, these days they are available as a service over the internet, which means you just need a system, you need an internet connection, and you will be able to access any IT resource. You can create a machine in absolutely no time. And all this, we call this as a cloud computing. Now, the benefits of cloud computing is, you don't need to pay any upfront cost of buying a machine. If you compare cloud computing versus a traditional computing, in traditional computing, let's say I need a machine, I need to go and buy a machine. I need to compare the cost of the different vendors, IBM, Dell, before purchasing a machine, and it is going to take a lot of time earlier on. But these days, since it is available over the cloud, over the internet, it is easily available, and And some of the features of cloud computing are it's pay-as-you-go model. It's based on the pay-as-you-go model, which means based on your usage, you are charged accordingly. It is also based on the concept of on-demand computing. On-demand computing means based on your requirement. You need a machine for, let's say, 15 minutes on Saturday midnight and 3 GB RAM machine, you will get it and you will be paying according to your usage. So cloud computing is a concept of accessing IT resources over the internet, and these IT resources can be a computer, it can be any hardware, it can be a load balancer, it can be a database, and you need to pay only for your usage. And it's based on demand, which means if you need it for 1 hour, you'll be getting it for 1 hour. So cloud computing is a concept, and there are many vendors of cloud computing. Cloud computing services provided by many vendors, and AWS is one of the best vendors. By the way, do you guys know what are the other vendors of cloud computing? We just to be on same page. Since I have very less information about your background, so let's hear from you. What are the other cloud vendors? Okay, I can hear a few answers. So we have Azure, we have Google, and good to see some of you are aware of Alibaba as well. And we have IBM, we have many other cloud vendors. And if you talk about the top 3 cloud vendors, Amazon is one of those. Okay, in fact, if you see the Gartner event, there is a different operators or different cloud computing vendors. Amazon is leading the race. But it's unfair to say that in every service Amazon is best. But yes, in most of the service, Amazon is one of the best vendors. So what we learned so far, AWS is one of the best cloud computing vendors or providers. Okay. So AWS is a secure cloud services. It offers a computing power. You get machines, you get database storage, you get content and delivery, and other functionality which help business scale and grow. Now, in some of the companies where cloud computing is useful, or many companies are taking the benefits, is you can think of any companies. It can be startups, it can be big manufacturing organizations, it can be consulting companies, many media houses. Think about Netflix, Amazon.com, where you buy your products. They are deployed on Amazon Web Services only. For large enterprises, for delivering trainings, your webinars, all these technologies, the cloud is helping each of these companies. So cloud computing, or primarily AWS, is being utilized by many companies. It's hard to believe, especially if any IT company is coming up and their solution is not on cloud. Be it a website, be it a banking application, be it a Netflix or a file sharing. Think about Dropbox. Think about Google Drive. All these things are using cloud, or they are cloud based. Okay. Now let's talk about advantages. Although briefly we have discussed some of the features, or you can say advantages, is based on your requirement, you will get a machine. And if you need it for 1 hour, you will get it for 1 hour. And I mentioned about the analogy, and the best analogy to to remember it for a long time about cloud computing versus traditional computing is, think about buying your own car versus using Uber cab service. Now, in Uber, you just pay for your drive time, or if you get a car for 1 hour, you just pay it for 1 hour, or maybe based on the distance. You don't need to pay for the car. You don't need to pay for the maintenance of the car. You don't need to pay for the driver services. You just use it as an end-to-end service, and you just pay according to that. Similarly, cloud computing is also that. You use a database for half an hour, you pay according to it. So these are the benefits. It's pretty flexible, which means if you even need a machine of 2000 GB RAM, that also I can create in next 2 minutes. I'll show in a demo. Of course, I'm not going to create it because it's going to charge me, but I'm going to show you what are the options available. And since it is based on the shared pool of resources concept, it is a very cost effective. That's why instead of buying your machines, instead of having your own server rooms or data centers, it's better to go on cloud. So it's very hard to believe a scenario where people might not go on cloud. By the way, can you think of any scenario where people will slightly stay away from using cloud? Since it is low cost, it is flexible, it is highly available, it's secured, scalable. Do you see any reason why any company will not use cloud and they will have their own infrastructure, their own data center? A quick question to all of you. A quick question to all of you. Do you think any scenario where a cloud computing where companies will not go for it? They will be a little skeptical about it. So I'm just giving you one of the very few examples where still people will not use cloud computing, and we should also be aware of that as well. So many banks, they have a rule that their data should not reside outside their country. Data of the customer should not go outside their maybe a local state. So there are many bank regulatory rules, or maybe the laws. Only in those scenarios people will be reluctant to use cloud. That's absolutely fine. But you see, at the end of the day, we have a lot of advantages. It's going to save a lot of cost. Your machines will never go down. You will get a very highly scalable system. Scalable means, think about Amazon has come up with a sale. And sale is, let's say the Christmas is coming and they have a sale day. On the sale day, let's say they are selling mobile for a pretty good cost. The number of users would be multiplied. If normally 1 million user is coming daily, on Christmas day, maybe 3 million or 3x users are coming. Now to handle those extra requests, we need to have more powerful servers, and buying servers will not be a good solution. So you can get those machines for extra machine just for 1 day, and you just pay for 1 day, and then you release those machines. Okay. Okay, so this is about AWS, and I'm seeing any questions or maybe a point. So to secure data which they don't want to open it for the world, and financial services, some of you gave an example. Yes, definitely. These are those corner cases where companies would be a little reluctant. So far we talked about the good parts about, and of course the advantages about AWS, and we also need to understand the technology behind it, or the infrastructure, how Amazon ensures that everything works so smoothly, how they comfortably say that their machines will not go down, or your website will not go down. So if we talk about Amazon Global Infrastructure, we have a concept of regions. So Amazon is into multiple regions, and let me show you what are those regions, and I'm going to demonstrate you the management console, and before that I'm just quickly checking one more time. You are able to see my screen. This is Amazon management console. Can you see the screen? Okay, great. So I was talking about Amazon Global Infrastructure, and we have Amazon available in all these regions. Okay, we have North California, Hong Kong, Mumbai, we have Singapore. In all these regions, Amazon have their own data centers. Data center, some of you might be aware that you can think like a big building with a lot of machines and a lot of servers. And within each region, we have a concept of availability zones. Availability zones means you can create your machines inside a particular data center, which is like a virtual data center, and the chances of going your machine down would be very less. Let's try to understand this with the help of this diagram, which I'm just drawing it. Okay, I hope you are able to see this diagram screen. Okay, so there's one question: who is going to manage all the servers in the background if there is a network issue? What do you think? If you think about the example of Uber versus buying your own car, who is going to do the maintenance of Uber car? The Uber or Uber driver. We as an end user, we don't need to bother about if the car is a breakdown. We will book another cab. Similarly, Amazon is also going to take the burden of maintenance. Okay, so that's the good part. So I mentioned Amazon is in multiple regions. Let's say we have region 1, which is, let's say, Singapore. We have region 2. Let's say this is North Virginia. And within region, I mentioned we have a concept of availability zones. AZ. Okay. And you will create your machine inside your availability zones. And the benefit is, if this zone goes down, let's say this data center goes down, then we will never have a scenario that this also goes down. You can think of like a clustering. You distribute your resources in 2 availability zones. This is 1 and this is 2, and this is, let's say, 1 region. So the best practice is, or what companies follow is, let's say you have a website which is running on a machine. So one machine you will put in one zone, other machine you will put in other zone. Which means if, God forbid, if this goes down, this region goes down, then for end user, it will not get impacted because this is working fine. So your application design would be such that you will have a load balancer in front of it. You will say that if this is up, then distribute the load. If this goes down, then only send the request here. So like this, for end user, a system will never go down. End user will always get a response. Think about Amazon.com. Have you ever seen Amazon.com going down? But do you think it's possible that behind the scenes the machine will never go faulty? Behind the scenes, daily or maybe once in a week, some machine does go down. They do go down. However, end user will not get an idea about it because the load gets shifted to the other machine, and behind the scenes, thousands of the machines work. I got a chance to work for Verizon, where I came to know they have 40,000 node cluster. Can you believe this? 40,000 machines are going to serve you, and on top of it we have a load balancer which will identify which machine is going down. Okay, and another use of cloud computing is it distributes your load. Okay, and with distribution of load, it distributes your data as well. This is a very, very important point, guys, why cloud computing is, or AWS is useful. Think about, you have a website like Netflix, where in Australia, somebody has uploaded a video of, let's say, your favorite movie, and somebody in US, and let's say Singapore, somebody in US wants to access this movie. Now, if he is going to access this movie over the internet from here, it is going to take a lot of time. We call this latency. Every 200 kilometers add 1 millisecond of latency. So what AWS and other cloud vendors they can do is they distribute the content. We call this content distribution network. Is going to distribute this movie file to all these locations, and a US user will be served not from here. He will be served from the movie which is now hosted on US domain. So it is also doing your distribution of data as well. These are the few benefits of cloud computing. Of course, there are many. Okay. So I'm just going over the chat to see anyone has any questions. Okay, so we will talk about job opportunities. In fact, last 20 minutes we are going to talk about this. So in this case, there's one question. In this case, we have only job opportunities only Amazon if I skilled in AWS. So we'll talk about this. I'm just going to park this question. There's one more question. If load balancer feature is not opted by the organization, then what is the scenario with the downtime with a machine in a data center? Will AWS provide the secondary machines freely? Okay, so actually there are so many questions inside this, and it's of course a great question. So Amazon provides you multiple ways to handle a lot of scenarios. Okay, so let me answer your first question, which is if you just have, let's say, one machine and your website is running here, what is the chances of this going down? The chance of going this down is also very, very less. I'm working for many clients where they have just used one machine, and I haven't heard in the last 1 year, their machine has gone down. So even one data center is also reliable. Even if one data center goes down, that's also is a big news. The stock prices will go up and down. So that also happens very rarely. But think about mission critical applications. Think about your stocks, where you are selling stocks and buying stocks. Those kind of mission critical application. Mission critical means where you cannot afford for a machine to go down even for a 1 second. Think about stock trading is going on and the machine goes down. You just cannot afford that. Okay, so there definitely you will need 2-3 machines to be absolutely secure. You can also distribute your machines across multiple regions as well. By the way, this can be surprising to some of you. You can have one machine on Amazon and one machine on Azure. That also is possible with a load balancer of any of the, you can have an external load balancer as well. So that depends on the knowledge of an architect, and for that's why we have this training, and also of course your experience also helps. And the companies are looking for solutions architect, developers in Amazon. They are the ones who is going to design the systems properly, which will ensure the system is very good in performance, system is very good in availability, system is very good in security, and system is very good in scalability. So I remember this by using this word PaaS, okay, or PaaS. Okay, we also have PaaS, which is platform as a service, but this is how you can remember. This is a goal of an architect. Okay, so I'm just checking is this answered your question. So without load balancer also, you can do a lot of things, but load balancer is a common scenario. So very less downtime. Okay, and the secondary machine, you have to ensure that how you have created your link between your main machine and the secondary machine. Okay, so very less chances of hardware getting failed. Okay, so let's move ahead. So these are the regions where we have, these are the infrastructure regions in Amazon. And anyone can guess what is this 3, 2, 3? So this is, let's say, Tokyo region. This is a Seoul region. What is this number inside this? These are, as some of you rightly mentioned, these are availability zones. Okay, and we have a Mumbai, 2 availability zones here. So minimum 2 should be there. Think about this. Minimum 2 should be there, isn't it? Otherwise, it will beat the purpose. If you just have 1 availability zone, then if that goes down, then there is no purpose for that. Okay. Okay, I'll just pause here. Just have a look at this. Now, these are the areas in which Amazon provides services. Many times I get this question that, Nitin, I am a database administration guy. Do I need to learn AWS? Sometimes I get a question from a big data expert. I know Hadoop, I know Spark. Do I need to learn AWS? Similarly, if somebody is from admin background or DevOps background, their question is also same. So it's very, very difficult to find a single person who knows everything about AWS, because AWS provides more than 1,500 services in all these categories. So for a database guy, I would say that you have to be expert in this. For a big data analytics guy, he has to be expert in the analytics service provided by AWS. And of course, as an architect of cloud, you should have a good idea about the overall all services, so that you can become a consultant who can, on a broader level, you can suggest which service. So the same thing you can see in this demo. Here we have many services which are under compute category. For example, EC2 is a machine. You get a machine in cloud. There are some services related to databases. Think about Oracle. Oracle is going to be absolutely ready for you to use using this RDS. These days we have NoSQL database, in case you have heard of. Amazon provides a NoSQL database as well. Okay, machine learning is becoming very popular, and we have a dedicated category for machine learning. So our data scientist, I would say, he should be pretty good in this area. Not really required to have a knowledge on other areas. Okay, so there are more than 1,500 services related to analytics as well, and Internet of Things also becoming so popular. So due to this region that it's kind of very difficult to learn each and every service from a single individual perspective. Due to this reason, we have, I'll talk about the trends in a while. I just wanted to show the different kinds of skills in AWS. So networking, computer security, computer architecture. Due to this, Amazon has created different roles. So we have cloud architect, we have cloud developer, we have SysOps administration, and the most important slide is basically the certifications, your area of expertise. So one is an architect associate, which is solutions architect associate, developer associate, and SysOps associate. So these 3 areas. We also have expert area, which is, after this associate, we have the solutions architect professional, And DevOps and SysOps will have this DevOps professional. And for big data experts, we have big data on Amazon. For security experts, we have security certification. Okay, and for machine learning. Okay, so like this, first of all, you have to choose your areas. And I understand most of you are beginners. So I would say this is the correct path, starting with the fundamentals, which is a foundational level course. I'm going to show you one more slide, and then, in fact, a couple of slides, and then last 20 minutes we'll take your questions. And there's one question parked related to the opportunities. In fact, this question will answer some of the doubts regarding the job opportunity. So since 2015, I would say 2015 onwards, cloud computing has picked up, and especially Amazon. And the last 1 or 2 years, Azure is also picking up with Google. And the job trends are, it has not gone down, I would say. This is, from 2018, last 1 year, it is consistently high. And many times I get this question whether it's just AWS or just in US or in different parts of India. It's basically globally in all locations. Okay, and of course, it all depends on the number of companies also in the location. But these are the figures, and in all these I'm sure most of you might be aware of. These are in India are the cities where we have most opportunities in terms of IT. I'm sure this is that one slide. If you have to choose one which you find it more attracting or interesting or useful, this would be that slide. Okay. So now I'm going to take your question. I can see more questions now. Okay. Okay. So going with the first question, which was a path. Okay. So in this case, we have only a job opportunities only Amazon if I skilled in Amazon. Okay. That's a great question. So I hope everybody understood this question, that if you learn AWS, you will get an opportunity in AWS. See, there is a shortage. There is a shortage of, I would say, Azure resources these days. There is a shortage of Google Cloud. In fact, I'm a trainer on Amazon. I do get many requests that within we do not have trainers for Google, and all those who are there, they are fully occupied. Can you also upgrade yourself to Google? Similarly, I would say as a consultant, as a person who's going to work on that, if you have learned AWS, definitely many companies will consider you for other cloud opportunities, considering that, when you know AWS, you can pick that thing faster. So this is also an answer of a question that if I learn AWS, do I need to learn Azure? The answer is, if you know AWS and you learn Azure, you will take 1/3 of the time as compared to somebody who is learning Azure or cloud from scratch. Of course, a little bit of nomenclature of Azure also or Google you have to learn. But once you learn one cloud provider, your effort would be 1/3, even 1/4, I would say. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. Next question is, okay, so there's a question, can you advise a certification for a person from QA background? So I would say AWS, if you are an a absolute beginner with no hands-on experience on AWS, then first of all, AWS Essentials you can start with. This is for those who have, I would say, no background or very less background. I'm just sharing that screen. So this is the one you can start with. And after that, Solutions Architect Associate. So those who are beginners, those who want to start their career in AWS. In fact, one of my friend who is not working on technology for last, let's say, although he did his his graduation in computers, but after that he did MBA, and he lost touch from technology. But now he realized that cloud is everywhere. So he wanted to learn, and I suggested. In fact, he did a lot of research on his own first of all. So he started with this, and he got a lot of interest and confidence. And then he cracked recently Solutions Architect Associate level. So this is a pretty good, I would say. But if you are experienced, and if you're an experienced architect, let's say 10 years experience or 7 years, you understand these databases and all those things, then you can start with Solutions Architect Associate. And if you are from like a system admin, or if you are handling the operations or a DevOps, some of you mentioned that you attended a DevOps training. So if you have a DevOps background, then I would say the SysOps and DevOps would be good. Okay, and these are like specialty exams. We started around 1 or 2 years back only. Okay, especially machine learning started last year only. Okay. Okay, next question is for technical engineers. So again, just to summarize, those who have some working experience and development and a little bit of cloud experience, you can skip the essential one, and you can go with the straight away Solutions Architect Associate level. By the way, Solutions Architect Associate and and Developer is 60 to 70% is common. Syllabus is common. Okay, because every certification exam will first of all it will guide you to the basic services. Okay, then a little bit 40% is different. Complexity wise, I would say almost same. But yes, the first one, essential one, is a less complex. So again, I am giving you some examples. One of my friend's wife, she is in pre-sales, and she also asked that which one to start with, and I recommended, by getting some idea about her experience, I recommended her Solutions Architect Associate. But when she started preparing, she realized that it is a little tough for her. Then she is first of all now going with the Essentials one. So I would say, if you want to get more confidence, maybe give the first one. But if you have worked for like 5-6 years, you know about technology, you know about database, you are from computer science field, then you can go with the Solutions Architect Associate, which is the most selling exam. In fact, I cleared that exam in 2015. Okay, let's take one more question. Okay, before that is one more question. Is it possible to switch domain from networking to cloud domain? If yes, what is the least certification? So again, those certification which I showed you in the first two half, essentials and the associate ones. Okay, same answer. Next question, since Amazon is providing all the services, including the maintenance services, why other companies need to recruit more Amazon skilled persons? See, Amazon has released so many services. Amazon is maintaining, but we need to use it, isn't it? For example, Amazon says you can create a machine in my cloud, so you need a person to create a machine. So, for example, I am creating a machine for you. Okay, so right now one machine is running. I click here. Okay, I need to click on launch instance. Why I am able to do this? Because I know. So like this, companies need somebody who knows how to use this. Think about cars. Car is BMW has released their cars. They are saying that we are going to maintain it for you, but still at the end of the day you need to use it. Since Uber also is there, Uber, to use Uber, you need to download an app. You need to learn how to add your Paytm. Okay. Although Uber is a very simple to use, but Amazon we have so many things. And you see this RAM. I mentioned that some of the machines you can get in absolutely no time, which has RAM close to even 4000 GB RAM. Can you believe this? Think about your laptop RAM, which would be I think 8 GB or 16 GB maximum. So you need that knowledge. That's why companies are recruiting. That's I would say a great question, and definitely for beginners, these questions definitely will come. So it's hard to believe if any startup is coming up and they are not using cloud. So that's why proportionally you need your resources, you need employees who can work on that. In fact, all startups, their websites, they are on Amazon, on other cloud providers. So there would never be a shortage, I would say, at least in the coming future, unless until something absolutely new come up. But I'm sure you might have. We are here discussing about cloud. The reason is cloud has become so popular with so many opportunities, because every business has a website, and website needs a machine, and machine, a costly or a less costly machine would be on cloud. Okay. Okay, so I'll take a few more questions. Just one more thing, just to be absolutely sure I do not miss any of the stuff. So again, many times you think that when is the right time to start. I would say this is the right time. We are slightly late, but definitely, we should start as early as possible. And still, we have a lot of opportunities. I remember in 2015, Amazon certification. I was like, somebody said me that only 100 people have cleared in 2014 AWS certification, and from 2014 to 15, 2019, daily now I see on LinkedIn somebody flashing that, okay, certification cleared, 7x, 2x, means 2 certifications cleared. So you see the popularity and the demand is increasing. Amazon Web Service, I'll give you an example and you will 100% believe. Jeff Bezos, the richest guy in the world, is basically the owner of Amazon, and he's earning more from Amazon Web Service rather than Amazon e-commerce. Okay. So in Magna we have many courses, and this is a course which is more of an a solutions architect. Okay, and we have many related courses as well. Again, we do a screening of audience, and depending on their skill set, and after a counseling, we suggest a right course. And this is a agenda where right now these words might not be clear. These are the services of Amazon. So we provide trainings, and the trainers are basically industry experts working on. They're not just the trainers; they have industry experts experience working in projects. And the courses that you'll have a lifetime access. You'll get some, in fact, all recordings. You have a support team, and these are not like self-paced training. These are instructor-led trainings where you will also get a chance to work on projects. Okay. Many times when you will apply for jobs, they will always ask you that can you share some real-time projects where you have worked on, or basically some examples. So here we also cover a use case based learning, where we explain, let's say we have to compress the images, and after compressing the images we send an email. Think about when you book an order in Amazon, then the seller and the buyer, which is you both get a notification email or an SMS when the order is delivered. So you see like a workflow. So all these things, how do we build it in a like real time? Okay. So this is all I wanted to present, and now I just wanted to be absolutely sure I answer most of the questions. So next 15 minutes we'll take questions, guys, if you have any. So one question is, so someone having a good knowledge, 4 to 5 years of experience in Amazon, can do all these basic tasks of deploying machines, and how it's going to helpful for more experience in terms of job. So 4 to 5 years of experience in AWS. I would say even 1 or 2 years of experience also will do that deployment. And in fact, people with 6 months also they learn. Again, it depends on their past background as well, their interest, their effort as well. So I would say 4 to 5 years is something high end you have mentioned. I would, since I mentioned that it has started picking up from, although it started in 2006, but it picked up only from like very highly from 2015 onwards. And now it is increasing at an exponential rate. So we do have very less people who have like 5 years of like expert in AWS. So 4 to 5 years we have mentioned in like a little on a higher end, even in 1 or 2 years. Okay, so there's one question: being a system admin, having 3.5 years of experience, from where should I start? So any I think some of you can go on mute, please. So yes, 4 to 5 years is a pretty good experience, even 1 to 2 years of experience. And there's a question how to start. Again, training. And in fact, before training, some guidance from somebody who's expert. In fact, we have the session today. It's a pleasure, guys, coming here and sharing knowledge with all of you. And I'm working for the last 15 years, 12 years. I worked for different companies, and then I cleared the certification, and I got a lot of requests from some external projects, and I started my own as an independent consultant with a small team now helping. So that shaped the certifications, and somebody who has done the expertise in this area, if first a guidance from or a discussion with that person. Of course, by the way, if anyone has more questions, of course you can write queries as well. So after that, after an initial discussion, you choose a right training program. Okay, and after training program, then you can appear for an exam that will make your profile a bit solid. And then once you get a little experience, that would be a little, first job or a first opportunity. It would take a little time, but I have seen many people getting settled in companies like Deloitte. So once you have that experience, a little experience, you have certification, training, then it will open a world of opportunities for you. Okay. So this one question: will companies prefer candidates from other technology domains, or they need candidates from cloud domain? Again, see, it's all demand versus supply. Okay. So I also take many interviews. There were times where we were struggling to find a candidate having some certification, and in the end, we were saying that okay, with any experience, any expertise, with a good attitude, just we will going to recruit that. So demand versus supply, and now I can see more people are getting aware of this, and data science is also one more area where even master's degrees people are doing in cloud also. So I would say awareness has increased, but the demand is still there, as we have seen the trend. So again, you have to increase your chances of job opportunities. Company will write a job request. Many people will apply. Those who have certifications, those who have some experience, of course, based on all these things, they are going to get more priority. Again, top companies, they will have a little higher requirement. So I would say you can just start without bothering about this. Just make a start. And initially the opportunities would be less, but gradually when you will build your profile over 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, you will have bigger opportunities and with a bigger salary package. Okay. So AWS. So there's one question: can you give some information about AWS Solutions Architect exam, beta exam? So by beta exam, do you mean the professional exam or the associate level exam? Okay, the new associate. So I think there's a lot of information, and what I can share is we have a link where Amazon talks about what are the steps. So actually there are a lot of details. So this link will give you the full path, and Amazon has, one of the tip is you understand these download, I mean these sample questions. Okay, and it has given you, how to prepare, and all the details are there. Okay, I'm just going to paste this link. You can also search, it's easily available as you have seen. Okay, there's one question: what is the future for more experienced guys? A good future, again in one line. Okay, so okay, the one which is getting released on 22nd March. What I have heard from the participants, or those who are recently prepared, just a little bit of security aspects is getting removed, and more some new services are getting added, although they have not disclosed all the details, but I would say only 5 to 10% things will vary. So if you are preparing for an existing one, then that's fine. So this link maybe you can check. Okay, so this is all I had, and 5-10 minutes I just wanted to leave. If Magna team, you have anything to talk about, it seems you have shared a URL. Do you want to add some more details? This URL, you want to talk about this? Magna team, yeah. Okay,
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
If any details, if any details, please share your contact details. We'll be in touch with you to give a counsel about all the courses. If any queries, please ping me, then I can clarify.
Okay, guys. So we understand you will be having a lot of queries, and 1 hour I know it's very less to answer your career related, but the goal was just to give you a start about a little bit of flavor of what is AWS, and also what all you can do, what are the opportunities. So just I will say, go back, think a little bit about this. Maybe I would say pick a tutorial on your own first of all, a little bit, just to see. Also you have developed an interest as well. So opportunities wise, there is no shortage, and if you develop your interest, then nothing like that. So if I were you, I would go back after this session, maybe do a little searching, and maybe read a tutorial, maybe a 1 page, just to get the interest going, and then maybe in a week's time, take some decision about how do I approach, how do I start learning things. Okay, and of course we are providing trainings here with expert trainers. Okay, so there's one question, since you mentioned 1 or 2 years can do all these tasks, what is the importance of a person who is working more than 8 years? See, more experience is more varied approach. For example, if I give you an experience when I was 10 years experience, not just the cloud, I had some other background as well. I worked on telecom domain, I worked on Java. Okay, so I had a bigger role. I have a multiple skill set, so I can be a person who can share his expertise level in multiple departments in a company, multiple projects. So maybe I'll be leading a couple of projects, and 1 or 2 years experience, he is going to just start as a cloud engineer. Okay, so with your experience, you get more responsibilities as well as more exposure. That also helps. Okay, so we have different roles in an organization, not just a cloud engineer. You will be an 8-year experienced person will lead a team of cloud engineers. Okay, so different roles. So experience versus years of experience versus skill set. Companies have many roles, many designations, and you just need to keep upgrading your skills. So think about, you are leading a team of cloud engineers and you do not have any cloud expertise. So experienced people also need to upgrade themselves so that they can effectively lead a team. Okay, guys. So this completes this session, and I'm sorry in case I missed any questions, but we have a limited time. I wish you guys all the best. Okay, and it was a pleasure interacting with all of you. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Nitin, and all of you for participating in this session. Shortly, you will receive a feedback survey. Please share your insights on today's session, as it will greatly help say future events we conduct such as this. You will also send you a link to the recording of this event so that you may share within your social networks and revisit in future. On behalf of Magna Infotech Care Services, a hearty thank you for joining us today. We hope you find this information and dialogue valuable in enhancing your understanding on AWS. If you are interested to know more on the topic, do check out our course on MICS portal. So tomorrow we'll be calling to you all the people and we'll clarify all your doubts. So we can guide you like which course will be suitable. So what are the market trends is there. So everything will help you. Now signing off and wishing you a spectacular week. Thank you so much.